Two.
All right, thanks. All right. Thanks. All right. So what I think many of us have recognized, we're living in a Dickensian dichotomy. In one regard, we have this extraordinary abundance of technology where what was available to us, only largest corporations 10 years ago, is now literally available to a woman in a village in a remote country. And that is so beautiful and so abundant. What that has actually spawned is a level of disruption that we've never seen and a level of transformation in this world that we've never seen. However, with all of that beautiful abundance, with everything that's available to us, at the very same time, we've never been, as a human species, more fatigued, more disenfranchised, and more disconnected. The data actually shows that in the last 5 years, more than a fifth of our workforce is significantly disengaged and disenfranchised. That's led to literally trillions of dollars of lost productivity. And so the real question that I think we have is, in this world where massive disruption is not only disrupting the behemoths, the General Motors, the General Electrics, et cetera of the world, but it's disrupting the disruptors. Every one of you here who are massive disruptors, creating extraordinary things, will literally be likely disrupted within 3 to 5 years with new entrepreneurs, new technologies, new ideas, et cetera. So the bigger question I think we have to ask ourselves is our traditional leadership models going to sustain us? Or in fact, do we need a fundamentally different set of rules? And that's what we've been looking at. We've been looking at where do we as individuals need to think about leadership fundamentally differently. And I'll give you a little bit of the old and the new principles, and then we'll get into some of the much more distinct tactics. For instance, we in most of our organizations, particularly some of the larger ones that you represent, we've lived in silos where the sales organization, the marketing organization, the product organization, et cetera, has done its work. And now we're emerging into a world of radical interdependency, where you can't get anything done unless you cross across. And it's no longer just a matrix. It's not just the marketing organization and the divisions and the silos, et cetera, in a matrix. It's literally moved to a gaseous mass of a network that's critical and necessary for any of you to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And the question for you as a leader is, how do you enlist a gaseous mass of a network to achieve the great things you're trying to achieve, the missions you're trying to achieve in the world? And you can't really, in old ways, even think about getting your hands around that gaseous mass. And that's what's being posed to us as leaders today. Authority and control are dead. Authority and control are giving way to attraction and enlistment and service. And any of us who remain beholden to the sense of do I have power? Do I have enough authority? Do I have enough control? Will create mediocrity in our lives. And the question is, how do we attract? And who do we attract? Even the principle of buy-in, it's a principle that we all feel is a penultimate of success if you get buy-in. But the reality of buy-in is that it also breeds mediocrity, because the reality of what we need to do is not buy-in, we need co-creation. We need co-ownership. We need other individuals that are co-leaders of our missions to own as much as we do. Buy-in is nothing more than sales, where you as we as arrogant individuals think that we have the answer, and we're selling it for somebody else to buy. And it will lead to our mediocrity of ideas, our mediocrity in our souls as individuals. And development and growth used to be something we would wait for. It would be taught to us. It would come down, whether that's in an organization of a manager or a school or whatever. But the reality today is that the learning and the development is sitting right here with you. The learning and development is co-developed. It's co-created in your teams. And the humility of leadership is that you are a humble journeyman in your own development and growth. I mean, the vision that I had the other day in some of our work was that we're nothing more than trees. And a great leader's job is to spawn other trees through saplings. And sometimes it's to give shade to those who aren't going to be saplings, but they just need some shade. But we trees have to play together. And, you know, here I am, a humble tree, not an elder of the planet like Peter Gabriel, and I'm looking up at this great stump and this great base of a tree, which is, you know, Christ or Buddha, that I could just shudder in the inspiration that it gives. But we all need to learn and grow, and our job as leaders is to develop and co-create a 360 way to do that. Now, the promises for this principle that we've now named, we named this principle co-elevation. I don't think collaboration is enough. The distinction of co-elevation is when you're co-creating and co-developing at the same time.